Okay, I guess there's no preview. It just goes live when it goes live. So here we are, and with any luck, first I need to go and. Okay, I guess. Yep. Now I'm hearing myself. This is really convenient, isn't it? I'm going to share this on Facebook. Trying out another live stream. V. Post. As soon as I get this link posted, then I will get started. Okay. There we go. And pop out chat, because I don't want to be running this. And yeah, computers are great. Okay, cool. Working. All right, so this is an oxygen sensor. It's not the sorry, I got confused as to what I was going to say about it. This is an oxygen sensor that, as opposed to a lot of other dangerous gas sensors, this is measuring not a dangerous gas, but a rather critically non-dangerous gas. At least that's the intent. If you have too much oxygen, I guess that's dangerous as well. But in any case, this is meant for, I guess, use in any environment where you might have a lack of oxygen. And I got this because I was playing around with liquid nitrogen a couple of years ago, and I was being really paranoid. I didn't want to have a situation where something went wrong and the nitrogen displaced all the oxygen in the room or the area I was in, and either killed me or my family. Nitrogen can be dangerous because you don't realize that you're suffocating. Carbon dioxide buildup is what causes that feeling of not being able to breathe. And if you're breathing pure nitrogen, you basically don't realize it until you fall over dead. So I thought this might be an interesting thing to have, so I picked up one of these, and it's, you know, it's kind of, again, it's a safety device, so it has certain interesting aspects to the way that it works. You have to calibrate it, and then, you know, you essentially turn it on in a normal atmosphere, calibrate it, and then it's good for 2 years, and it's only good for 2 years. It has a countdown right on the screen. You can't turn it off. Once you've activated it, it's going. And when it hits the 2-year point, it starts beeping quite aggressively to tell you that it's no longer good, and you at that point you have to just shut it off and throw it away and get a new one. So that's why it says off here. This is hit the 2 years, and it will no longer operate. If I turn it on here, you can see this percentage is counting down. I don't know exactly why that's doing that, but it also has a little display on here. Yeah, it's not happy. It has a little display on here for wireless transmission. It has an IR port on it, so you can download the logs and the data to, I guess, you know, if you're working in a mine or something, or some industrial environment, you can collect the data from all of these, so you have a record of what happened. But in any event, as this is no good anymore, I mean, I suppose it's possible that I could open it up and change the battery and, you know, get it going again. But it's an electrochemical sensor here, so really these things are, you know, they do have a finite shelf life. And I've realized in the intervening 2 years that I'm not particularly paranoid about the nitrogen situation as I was at the time. So. I don't think I'm going to replace this. It's over $100 for one of these things. It's not necessary. So the first thing, I'd like to see what's in it though. So the first thing I think is to take off this clip, which looks fairly straightforward. I should probably record this locally, not just trust that the stream is going to be recorded. Okay, so I see, you know, what I thought was interesting at first, actually, yeah, I wonder why there's a, I wonder what that is. It's like Is that a thing to see if it's... Nah. Well, we'll see. I thought it was interesting that there are just regular screws on here, because I would think this is the sort of thing you're not meant to disassemble. Perhaps it doesn't, you know, this is for ease of manufacture. They don't really care if you take it apart. You're not taking it apart, you know. Actually, it's a good question. I mean, why does anyone put tamper-proof screws or things like that? I mean, I thought the reason that they glue things together and weld them together is really just because that's easier to manufacture than having to put all these screws in, not necessarily to keep people out. In some cases, obviously, like video game things, they do use the tamper-proof screws. Either they're worried about their customers hacking the device or competitive reasons or something. So yeah, 4 screws come out and the back comes straight off. So I guess now we can see the answer to the question about what this little piece of plastic here, why that goes through. I don't see any reason for that, actually. So there's the IR transmitter on the top, and that points out this window on the top. And then it looks like this thing here doesn't really line up with anything. That maybe that's just part of the way the molding is set up here. It is interesting that they have some windows, like you can see. What are these 3? It might be more interesting than I thought. I think I set the camera to manual focus, but there are these sort of 3 studs, for lack of a better word. They don't look like components of any sort, and a chip there. And for some reason, there is a clear plastic window, and you wouldn't have gone through the effort to put that there unless it serves some function. And then there's this, there again is that part there that maybe lets, I don't know why that would let light through, because the light is not, clearly not shining on anything useful. Or perhaps they're, I don't know, test things. Yeah, it's weird. I would have, you know, why not just make this overmolding solid? This is sort of a rubberized thing, so it's a little bit drop proof. Anyway, inside the board here, we've got the battery on there and the back of a board. So let me just take this off. A couple more screws. Might be easier to look at out of its case. Okay, that pulls right out, and so there's our sensor. And a tamper device here. So I think that's never mind. That's a vibration motor. I saw this on here and I thought, and there's contacts on here, I thought maybe that's to detect if you've taken the cover off, but this is actually a vibration motor. This, in addition to beeping, it buzzes and vibrates. So it's an interesting way they've done that. It's on the front, and they've just got two pins there, 2 tabs to connect that to the board. Okay, and a little opening for the gas. So that there is the meat of the thing, in a sense. Oxygen sensor. I actually have, let me see here if it's, I think it's sitting right above me. I can pull this down. Are these them? Are these those? Sensor. It's one of these things that I haven't, it's been sitting there to play with someday, but I think I have some other ones, but yeah, these aren't the ones I was thinking of. These are just sort of random sensors, like you know, sound and temperature and things. Somewhere I have a whole bunch of chemical sensor type things, but my I've got too many random collections of parts and stuff lying around. Anyway, it's probably not that interesting, but I thought if they were right here, I would pull them out. I probably should get to using those soon because, as I said, there's a shelf life on these things. There is chemistry involved, and so they do eventually not work so well or at all. Huh. I wonder where I put that stuff. I'll have to track it down. Anyway, they all tend to be fairly similar. I guess the reason I was gonna pull that kit out. You know, slightly different design depending on the reaction and the type of thing they're doing. But oh, okay. So I guess this is how this sensor is mounted to the board, and strange as it might be, perhaps this window on the back is so that you can verify that this sensor is actually present. Could it be that crazy? Like if you pulled this off of the board or maybe never installed it, like a manufacturing problem at the factory that they actually have to look through there. I could potentially see that, and for a life-saving device, yeah, after it's all put together and everything's screwed together, there might be like a final quality control check where somebody looks through the window and just makes sure that that component is not missing. Although it seems like you designed the board so it wouldn't work if it's missing. But in any event, so we've got a 3.6 volt lithium primary battery here, presumably not rechargeable. Looks like it's tack welded on, so one could, I suppose, replace this battery. I don't know if I don't think that the lifetime sensor here or lifetime counter is based on the battery voltage. I have had things where, you know, they just monitor the battery voltage, and when the battery gets low enough, they say, okay, it's time to replace me. But I think this is very specifically 2 years. It counts down in the number of months remaining. So it probably has some, I don't know if it has any, I guess we could find out. I mean, if it has any non-volatile storage such that you can't reactivate it. And it would be a fairly foolish thing to do, but, you know, there are people out there who cheap out on life-saving devices, so sometimes that happens. Just cut that connection and then sort of press it back into place and see what happens. Ah, well, it's I think it's doing its initial activation thing. Interesting. So maybe it is, you know, doesn't have non-volatile storage. It just assumes that you're not stupid enough to replace the battery. All right, let's just get that battery out of the way then. So yeah, display, very loud beeper, the electrochemical cell, and now we'll go into, I suppose, we will go into the close-up. Let's go over to El Microscope. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so the main brains of the outfit here seems to be an Atmel Mega 169 PV. So got our microcontroller on there. Unpop, oh, there's the JTAG header. Stuff's nicely labeled for my convenience. I don't know what any of these components are. I'm not one of those guys who does teardowns all the time and understands these things intuitively. One of them. I can tell a resistor when I see it. What's this here? FSR 12.5. Crystal? No, the crystal's over there. No, that's a capacitor. Okay, so maybe that's, it says Extal 1, must be. And there's the IR, and there's a bunch of pads above it. Interesting. Upside down. That, whatever it is. Yeah, passive stuff. I don't know what a SIPX 3232EE is. 2004 manufacturer? Interesting. These things also, in addition to the shelf life, once you activate it, there is a shelf life of the thing itself. It's only, I think it's only good for a year, if I read correctly. It's only allowed to sit on the shelf 1 year before they before it's sold. So there should be a date on it somewhere to that effect then, if that's the case. But sensor's labeled sensor just in case. Is there anything interesting on here at all? Probably not. I just find it interesting how old some of these components are. 95. Yeah. I guess they probably made a lot of them. And then maybe they, I don't know, is that 94? Maybe a date of design of this board? I don't know. And, you know, maybe they just put the sensor on at the last possible minute. So I guess I could take this. How is this thing attached? How is it attached? Don't know. It's the LEDs. Flash, flash, flash. Flash is quite bright red around the side. Let's go back to looking at this LCD module. Oh, how is it attached? It's not. It just comes right off. And there is really nothing going on there. But just for the heck of it. Yes, some passive stuff underneath. Transistor. And connections to the zebra thingies. They're not really very, yeah, I guess they are. Not a lot of connections to this thing, but then I guess it's not a dot matrix LCD. It just has a couple of things it displays. So does this come apart any further in any interesting way? I don't think so. I think that's just a module. Yeah, that's about the end of that. So, well, there we go. Kind of experiment here just to see how this works, trying to live stream one of these instead of setting myself up for a ton of editing. But, you know, I have very little I can say about this. There's, yeah. I mean, you could kind of, if I knew where my set of sensors was, I'll have to dig that up. But yeah, you can kind of build one of these, right? You just read the value from the sensor using whatever. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's part of what I have in that kit, which I've lost track of. You know, alert if it's under a certain level, and you know, flash the lights, sound the beeper, and other than that, just, you know, count down how much time's remaining. The cost probably goes into certification and, you know, and ensuring that this thing is designed to work correctly, and you know, not fail to go off and let people die. So, you know, for $100, it's probably, you know, it's probably a couple dollars worth of parts at the most, but it's probably worth the investment. If you are, you know, working in that sort of environment, hopefully your boss is not a cheapskate who's you know, taking these apart and trying to reuse them with replacement batteries. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say. So I'm gonna hit end on this thing, and we'll see. I'm curious to find out if it even uploaded to YouTube at all, and if it's watchable. Bye.